They huddled in their bunker in the war-ravaged Portland, Oregon. Someone, a harbinger of death, an Antifa foot soldier, told them there was All Hallows Eve, Halloween, huddled and broken, with the only light flickers of flame amidst rubble. They recorded a podcast. Greetings, fellow traveler. It's the Good, the Pod, and the Ugly Halloween episode where we all talk about Garth Marenghi'S Darkplace.
Did you bring that fucking book just to close it?
It was for the sound effect. I don't think they have royalty-free book closing sound effects.
That's cinema, baby.
No, Mr. Wilson. I don't have to take that kind of talk from anyone.
That's right, you don't. How about going outside and trying to kick me around?
I'm not supposed to fight with the guests, Mr. Wilson.
I'm not a guest tonight, you yellow bastard. I happen to be an intruder.
Welcome back to a very special episode of The Good, the Pod, the Ugly. It is Halloween. Woo. Thomas, podcast host, though I prefer the term Dreamweaver.
I am Ken, also podcast host. I also prefer Dreamweaver.
I'm Ryan, podcast host, and I prefer Imaginer.
And we're joined by Jack.
I prefer plus actor.
Very good.
He's someone who didn't die or offend me.
Yes. We were going to have another guest this week, my wife, Andi. But ever since she sniffed out my money, or lack thereov, she has bolted. Sorry, honey.
This thing presumed dead, probably dead.
Yeah, maybe it's better with just four of us because there's four people, like four central characters in Garth Marenghi'S Darkplace, and I really think that four is one of those great numbers because of like Ninja Turtles and Sex and the City and the Beatles. Each person can like say like who they identify with most. Like, I don't know, am I the Garth Marenghi of the group?
Could be.
That's a good question. You mean the Dr. Rick Dagless, MD. Before we go any further, though, if you've never watched Garth Marenghi'S Darkplace,
what are you doing?
Yeah, good luck to you. You're an idiot. It is a program we have probably referenced at least 200 times the last 5 years in this podcast.
Yeah, and we're actually one of the only podcasts who's talked about more movies than we've watched.
Well, I call Ken the Orson Welles of podcasting. That's not a comment on his weight.
We're just going to do references to Darkplace for an hour, and we're going to call it good. Or maybe all three. Does anybody want to take a crack at describing what the only six episodes of Darkplace that exist, of what it is?
Ryan, this is your first time watching, right?
Yeah.
So how about you give a crack at it?
Sure. The titular Garth Marenghi is a fake fictional horror writer. And in the world of the show, he has written, directed, and starred in a series called Garth Marenghi'S Darkplace, in which Garth Marenghi, the fictional horror writer, plays Dr. Rick Dagless,
MD,
yes. A Vietnam War vet who is now a general practitioner and sometimes surgeon at the Darkplace Hospital, where he works with his boss, Dean Lerner, and a fellow Dr. Todd Rivers, and together the three of them, plus is she Dr. Madeleine Wool? Dr. Madeleine Wool, the four of them get into all sorts of supernatural sticky wickets and adventures.
Okay, to add another layer there, I had to clarify. Dean Lerner is the producer and first-time actor?
Yes.
And Garth's publisher, who plays Thornton Reed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Richard. Oh man, I'm so close. It's Ayoade. Ayoade. Yeah, plays a fictional character who plays a character.
Yes. as does Matthew Holness as both Garth Marenghi, the author, and Dr. Rick Dagless, MD, the main character of Darkplace.
Your other Matthew, Matt Berry, is the actor Todd Rivers, who plays Dr. Sanchez.
Uh-huh.
And those three will, in the Office mockumentary style, will cut to them talking about lost footage or making of the show during the show. Absent from those is Madeleine Wool, who plays Liz Asher, who is the newest doctor joining the ward, who's also psychic, who is presumably dead, most likely dead.
Yes.
At the time that they're filming the commentary.
Yes. As Dean Lerner says about her at the end of episode 3, one of my favorite lines, possibly in the entire series, that I quote all the time. She was like a candle in the wind. Unreliable. God damn, that still cracks me up. I have watched Darkplace through all 6 episodes probably 30 to 40 times.
Yeah.
Jack, you're probably fairly close to that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I discovered it right after Jack's mom and I separated. I was going through a tough time, and my buddy Phil had me over to his house one day and he said, "Have you ever seen this Darkplace?" It was on YouTube, which YouTube is still the way to watch it because Amazon will cuts out the bumper, the commercial bumper, for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
I hate it. So we watched the first episode and I was hooked. And then the months following that, I was going through a lot of stress and anxiety over the forthcoming divorce. I would get up like at 3:00 in the morning, unable to sleep, have my iPad. I would watch Darkplace episodes. I probably watched it at least 15 times that spring and summer.
I didn't realize you were married 3 times prior to that.
Uh-huh.
Wait, your forthcoming divorce, right?
No.
Henry VIII.
So, Jack, 30 times, that's more than once a year. Did you have something really horrible happen in your life?
I think the more horrible thing was living for so long without having watched Darkplace. It's no way to live. But yeah, I mean, this is just one of my favorite things ever, and it's just one of those comfort shows. Like, some people will watch The Office. Good luck to them; they're idiots.
Well, we're talking about the American Office.
Yes. But yeah, Darkplace is just something to me where I've often said that the only problem with it is that it's too good, possibly.
Too few.
Yeah.
That and too few, but the level of parody that you have to get to. I mean, it's like one of the hardest things to do is comedy, but even harder than that is parody, I think. And the level that you have to get to make something this brilliant, the filmmaking is almost too good for what it's supposed to be, which is a lost piece of media. But yeah, I actually have to go because I have work, but I just wanted to pop in and say that, yeah, Darkplace is just, it's very, very special to me, and it's very important to me. And I almost think that like the last episode is too sad, so that's why.
I was going to say the same thing. I watch it this morning, and I always get this weird that feeling like after you've opened up all your Christmas presents as a kid.
Yeah,
and there's no more anticipation of Christmas until next year. That sadness.
Yeah,
it's the same thing every time I watch the Shores of Shoggoth. Yeah, every time it's just really sad because there's never going to be another one.
And I hope not. I hope they don't do... I don't think they would do a Darkplace reunion. If they did, it would probably suck. But yeah, love Darkplace. Love Halloween. Sorry to leave the podcast, but you guys will get another podcaster. It's the same tool belt. It's the same microphone on the tool belt.
Well, I'm going to start with... Well, I was going to end my Halloween facts with... since you have to leave, Jack. And so for the first Halloween fact this episode... Halloween is also shared with Jack's birthday. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, you guys.
Happy birthday, Jack.
Never do drugs.
Yeah, have fun, y'all.
All right. See you, Jack. His mom just needs to keep him off the smack, and I think Jack will be okay.
You really have seen this dozens of times.
Yeah, I have.
For a second Halloween fact,
Uh-huh.
Halloween was a holiday before John Carpenter. In fact, it goes all the way back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, over 2,000 years old. And so it predates the movie Trick or Treat, that is a 2007 horror comedy written and directed by Matthew Holness, his directorial debut, and produced by Bryan Singer. In fact, the practice of trick or treat originated during the Black Death, aka the Second Bubonic Plague, and it was known as tick or teat.
Mhm.
So called because you didn't know when you went to your neighbors on the 31st of October to show off your costumes whether you would get a plague-infested arachnid or hot milk from the udder.
Very good. So Darkplace, 6 episodes. It's horror in a hospital. The 6 episodes, the first one's Once Upon a Beginning, which introduces like Liz to the Darkplace cast, and she's kind of like an helps us introduce to the craziness of the hospital. You have Hell Hath Fury, the second episode where she goes nuts and introduces the unforgettable character of the temp, Clive the temp. And then the third episode is Skipper the Eye Child, which a mutant baby triggers Dr. Rick Dagless, MD's sorrow over the loss of his son, who was half grasshopper.
Yep.
Then we have the Apes of Wrath, where a green watery substance turns almost everybody into half ape, half humans, except for Dr. Rick Dagless, MD, who just can't get a drink of water no matter what he does.
And Lerner barely, Lerner, who plays Thornton Reed,
yes,
just has a little sip, so he only partially becomes, yeah.
And then we have
Scotch Mist.
I think that Scotch Mist is the single greatest half hour of comedy of the 21st century.
Wow.
Almost every line, every scene are things that I quote or reference. I think the last 2 episodes is really when they started. It's weird because the last 2 episodes, but Scotch Mist and then there's the Shores of Shoggoth episode is when they really kind of figured out how much they can do and how much they could include in these 25 minutes episodes. And they're a lot more ambitious than the other 4. And Scotch Mist is like the crown jewel for me. It's the one I've seen the most out of all the episodes, and it's the one I quote the most.
Yeah, episode 6, The Creeping Mists of Shoggoth, or whatever that one is, has a lot going for it. And I think it definitely feels like it's the most developed of the 6.
Yeah. The last 2 episodes are also a little more expansive because they have like the outdoor set with the mist or fog. And then obviously the last one has one of the funniest needle drops in comedy history. One track lever. What did the Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, the first time I remember I want to hear what Ryan has to say. It's his first time watching it. So
yeah, especially as you just rattled all that off from your head. Not even looking at notes.
Right.
You knew
what. Yeah. It's funny. It's not really my cuppa, but I appreciate the technique, and I can see how influential it has been for you all as far as the type of humor that it presents. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
There's some fun stuff. Like I don't know if there's full-on Easter egg, or I'm not even want to call it an Easter egg. There's definitely stuff that skipped past me the first 2 or 3 viewings, but I don't feel like it's as intricately visually as like with background stuff happening as maybe some 80s comedies like the brothers who did Naked Gun.
Mm-hmm. The Zucker brothers.
Yeah. But this time I caught something I didn't catch before in the first episode that is just such a dumb literary joke. Which is probably why I love just reading even Richard Ayoade's books. Is there's a quote right after the introduction by Garth Marenghi.
Mm-hmm.
After a cat speaks, I think there's a King Lear quote.
Yes,
and the attribution for that King Lear quote is Shakespeare, King Lear, page 46. And you don't cite things that way. There's no page 46.
Right.
It'd be act whatever, scene whatever, right? But you would never do it by a page number.
Right.
But it is it is a laugh that isn't hanging any lantern on it. It's just if you catch it, you catch it. If not, it's there for the 5th, 6th, or 8th viewing.
I hate trying to explain why something's funny, but it's funny to me. Holness developed this character long before the TV show, and the series is so weirdly meta because it's about a show from the 80s from an author who was famous in the 70s and 80s, but he's talking about it in the early 2000s when the show was rediscovered. And then the levels go to his publisher, who in real life is this cigar smoking, cap wearing, man about town. And then he's also was an actor in the show, and he's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to think of how this show came to be, because if you think about a comedy that's making fun of an 80s TV show, there's a lot of those. But the meta level of having a publisher, having them discuss it 20 odd years later, it's very special and unique. And one of the things I love about it, because there's literally nothing like it.
Well, yeah. And the bad camera work and the bad special effects are just kind of brilliantly done. Something I didn't really notice the first few times, or didn't stick with me, but stuck with me this time. Maybe because you have to duck to enter most doorways. Is how much they emphasize the height disparity between the actors of Matthew Holness and Richard Ayoade.
Yes, the forced perspective, almost like Ayoade is like 10 feet tall and Holness is like 4 feet tall.
But it's all it's not done, like they wouldn't want that to be the case in shooting, and it's not the case that those actors are that disparate. It's just like they don't know where to put the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that comes from, Holness and Ayoade are writing it together, and Ayoade's directing it. He's made some great movies since as a director, but they are doing it from the point of view of Garth Marenghi writing and directing and starring in the show, and that's where the ineptitude comes from, because he's so full of himself, and it's so hard to direct and write from such a weird perspective. And it's just endlessly funny, because it's hard to tell people why something's funny. But
part of it is you have the Garth Marenghi character so full of himself. Like he is a author who has written more books than he's read, as like a badge of pride, who won't ever let his character not come out on top.
Yes.
And so everybody does these gymnastics by the writing that Garth Marenghi is doing for his character of Rick Dagless, MD, to allow like wild stuff to him always to be the person who everybody else learns a lesson from.
Yeah. Well, it's like after the temp dies, and he's kind of mourning for the temp. And he says, I just wish he knew that it wasn't just one-way traffic, that, I got a lot out of it too. And then
Dean Lerner
goes, if he had Thornton
Reed
says, if he had a breath left in his body, I'm sure he would have thanked you. And then Dagless goes, well, you'd hope so.
And there's stuff like the say no to drugs or don't do drugs.
Yeah,
that's just ADR'd for no good reason.
It's never take drugs.
Oh, never take drugs. Thank you.
Never take drugs. I say that all the time.
Yes, the needless ADR is always funny when it happens.
Yeah, the couple in the Scotch Mist is probably the most extreme version of it. Not to mention Matt Berry whenever there is an action scene, and he's just saying random things, even though his character's mouth isn't moving.
Yeah.
Every time they laugh, of course. Well, can we talk about the background a little bit of Holness and the Garth Marenghi character is based on a real person. There was a British author in the 70s and 80s. His name is, he's dead now. His name was Garth Marenghi, so very similar. And he was a fringe author whose cheap horror novels were sometimes banned and sold in smut shops. I have some facts about him because I did a lot of background on Marenghi. He was born in 1952, did not go to Vietnam. He describes his youth as a hard scrabble, bloody-knuckled affair. His parents were drunken dead-enders on the dole. In 2009, Andrew Morton wrote an unauthorized biography of him called Never Darker, Never Placer. And it was like a late career, late life bad thing for Marenghi because it included a quote that he says he never said about 9/11. Let me see if I can find my notes. The quote is, "The worst thing about Al-Qaeda is their lack of imagination and inconsistent spelling." So that quote got him into a lot of hot water in 2009.
Oh, that's a good bit.
And in the book, it also turns out he came from great wealth and he made up his whole background. Do you want some more quotes of Marenghi?
Yes.
Okay. There was a formative writing experience that he talks about, and this comes from a rambling Q&A at TroublesCon, and that's a horror convention in Belfast also from 2009. And he says, "It was my first year in uni, the swinging 60s, when lunch was affordable in London. He went to a happening, which is what the hippies called a potluck. I asked about a pungent odor, and they said it was jazz cabbage, slang for marijuana. What about her? I asked of a woman dancing as if possessed. The answer was she was high on Stalin's spunk, slang for acid. From there, my mind opened up to new vistas, new horrors, entire worlds revealed themselves to me. What's that? No, I didn't take any drugs. Do I look like an idiot? It was due to a potato casserole someone brought to the potluck. To this day, I feel sick seeing a chive." His greatest notoriety was in 1983 when a group of boys in Brixton copied one of the gruesome murders from Slicer #1. In fact, Slicer that Dagless reads in episode 3, Skipper the Eye Child, is actually a book written by Garth Marenghi.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm going to whisper this name because I don't want her ghost to show up, but Margaret Thatcher brought it up herself and called the novel antithetical to the decent British way of life, an unmitigated moral failing, a road without guardrails or speed limits, whose ultimate destination is the complete degradation of our most precious resource, our children.
Wow.
So from there, Marenghi was borderline infamous because of it. He claims he never made a dime off of any of his novels, but as he likes to say, he got laid at least twice from them. So he tried to get his books republished off the notoriety. They called them Forbidden Tales of Horror. That also failed. He tried using his brief fame to start a band. He called the genre erudite metal, and that also didn't take off. And then as a lark, he submitted anonymously or under a pseudonym a outline for a series of TV shows for young adults to the BBC. And it was about a hospital called Darkplace. And it got so far along, and he used it as a stunt. When he showed up for an actual meeting and they realized who it was, he wore a bloody morgue attendant outfit with words written on the front that said, "Give me all your precious resources." So some of the inspiration for Darkplace came from that failed project of Marenghi. I have some more facts, but we could talk about them later.
Are you sure about that? Because I don't really see the parallels, Ken.
No?
I mean, the name sounds kind of similar, but
I don't understand how British publishers didn't capitalize on that incredible plug from Thatcher. That seems like it should have printed money right there.
Well, I think some of the content and the actual writings was not. And actually, he was a bit like Harlan Ellison in public. He wrote a series of editorials in 2000 AD in the 80s, and he very much had the pugilistic, chihuahua with its back fur up attitude about popular culture. Mm-hmm, so he's also known for that. You know who was also a big fan is Peter Jackson, who talked about him in a 1989 documentary that was done for New Zealand TV called The Horror Left Behind, about transgressive authors and filmmakers of the 60s and 80s. So that's how a lot of people from that part of the world got into Marenghi, and why Darkplace was actually a hit in New Zealand when it came out in the 2000s. So there you go. He also Marenghi had a long-term beef with Alan Moore in the 90s, and it was who was the more authentic wizard between them. In public appearances and in that monthly column of 2000 AD, Marenghi would also often refer to Moore as that sha-na-na-na-na man, and that fucking pissed Alan Moore so much. The beef ended with Marenghi, who publicly announced he had prostate cancer, and Moore released a terse, for Moore, statement that simply said, "And they say curses don't work."
Wow.
Yeah. Neil Gaiman, who wrote an essay in The Guardian in 2017 after Marenghi's death, called "When Darkness Has No Light." So Marenghi died when he went to Romania, which he said was for cheap plastic surgery, but some say it was actually for oral surgery or to become a vampire. Gaiman said Marenghi's work, this is a Neil Gaiman quote, "One need not read to your child's babysitter. She would never come back. One should, however, read in those long dark nights alone when the despair of lusts never met, meet their putrid, gory, perfect match in Marenghi's blunt, primal prose."
Wow.
Yeah, leave it to Neil Gaiman to bring up babysitters when he doesn't have to. All right, I'm sorry I hijacked this entire episode, you guys.
No, that was great.
2 pages more.
I did not have any idea that the show was based on a real person. My only knowledge of like British horror writers was Clive Barker, so I kind of thought maybe that's what they were sending up. But this makes much more sense, obviously.
Dean Lerner was not based on like any Marenghi friend or business anyway. He was based on Ian Fleming's original publisher, whose name is Alistair, and this is the worst last name ever. His name is Alistair Dicksauer.
Wow.
He dressed and smoked just like Lerner, and he famously challenged Sean Connery on the set of Dr. No to a boxing match for being too effeminate to play James Bond. Yeah.
Connery was a bit of a dandy in those days, I think.
Yes.
Here, I'm going to give you a palate cleansing fact, I guess.
Thank you.
From Halloween. Halloween, there's been this urban myth that's gone around that Motorola in the early aughts, this is before the iPhone, was going to partner with Apple. But Steve Jobs said, no, Apple will not have any razors in it.
Good job. Happy Halloween. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Scotch Mist, though.
Okay.
So the other thing, the music, which is based on melodies whistled by Garth Marenghi, the opening has a Halloween reference, both in the music and in the POV shots. And then in the middle of the episode, they do bagpipes aping the good, the bad, and the ugly fight at the end of that movie. And what I mean, like from the earlier episodes, how much more ambitious it was to introduce kind of funny music that is referencing other things. Yeah, one of my favorite things is that episode and with the camera work, aping two different great movies, also doing the music. It's just pure cinema, as Scorsese would say.
The last 2 episodes also take on social issues in a fun way, because Scotch Mist, as I believe this is a quote, I wrote it down, you have to be a bigot to take down bigger bigots.
Yeah.
It includes this line. Trust me, Liz, I've met a lot of Scotch people. They want what we've got. Order, sobriety, hope. It's an episode premised on overcoming your hatred of the Scotch.
His monologue about his inadvertent stop in Glasgow is also one of my favorite things, of one of my favorite episodes of all time.
It's delivered in a way of the most recent Naked Gun movie. It's just nonsense, right? It's silliness delivered with an earnestness.
Yes. A shatter of glass, a round of applause. 16-year-old mother of 3 vomiting in an open sewer.
Yeah. Wait, 16, right?
Yes.
Okay.
16-year-old mother of 3. Yeah, it's like Portland right now, really, what he's describing.
Yeah.
Too soon. I just ruined the whole episode, didn't I? Sorry, guys.
I do like the 6th episode the best of them all, especially as I think it's Dean Lerner interviewing, saying something like, "The cosmic spores were, of course, 8."
Nobody was talking about it back then.
Oh, or the priest. Well, except for Princess Diana, is what they say. No one's talking about it except for Princess Di, or the priest who says something to Dr. Dag. "You're the most sensitive man I know, and I know God."
The Padre appears in 3 episodes. The first episode, the ape episode, and this one. And he's a delight every time. Calls him Padre.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then when they talk about lust, he says, "I just have it for the big 3." He points up.
He says something in that where he's like, "I'll meet you at this place," or like behind my Jeep or something.
I have no idea what that means.
Okay, I thought maybe it was a hookup.
I don't know.
Was what he was implying. But I couldn't quite, I didn't know, because I'm not British enough maybe to know if it had another meaning outside of it.
Yeah, he's great.
My favorite episodes were Hell Hath Fury and Skipper the Eye Child, the 2nd and 3rd. I thought those were really fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell Hath Fury is probably my 2nd favorite of the 6. I mean, I love them all.
I don't know. The 6th episode has a moment where Dag is on the phone and you have that one-way conversation that normally happens in television.
Yeah,
and he says, "Sorry, I thought you were going to say something." He wasn't listening. There wasn't talk on the other end of the line. He was just waiting for the other person to say something.
Yes. Yeah, there's lots of funny bits with the phone throughout the series. That episode has the security guard who like, "Give me Dr. Rick Dagless, MD, right away." Yes, I'll hold.
It also has one of my favorite lines from him reading from his book, which he does at the beginning of the episode, where he says, "They tried at all the positions. On top, doggy, and normal. Exhausted, they collapsed onto the recently extended sofa bed. Then a hell beast ate them."
I mean, this whole episode could have just been quoting episodes of Darkplace. Thomas, you didn't tell us when you first watched Darkplace. When did you first
it was in the
discover it?
mid-teens. I'm not sure exactly how it came about, but I watched it with my friend James. He introduced me to it. He had found it, and maybe it came through... No, it was this and then the IT crowd that we watched. So I'm not too sure how it was on his radar, but yeah, he's the one that helped me to it.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And how many times have you rewatched it?
It's probably my 4th time. So yeah, I'm hoping that nothing too tragic happens to me, in which case I'll watch it a bunch of times. Very
good. And where did you guys get this to watch it? Where did you watch it, off Amazon or on YouTube or what?
I watched it on Prime. I didn't realize about that it was edited, that the bumpers were missing.
Yeah. Thomas?
Yeah, I watched it this time on Prime.
Okay. I watched the first 3 episodes on Prime because it had subtitles, and I caught a lot of jokes I hadn't before. But I've seen it so many times without the weird bumper between commercials. I just couldn't do it. So I switched to YouTube without subtitles. And I would think if you, listener, were going to watch it, I would do the same. YouTube.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, do you want to give us some last-minute facts, Ken, before we say adios?
You want Marenghi facts, or do you have Halloween facts?
I thought maybe... I have, I guess, another Halloween fact, but they're not all that great, so I'm going to apologize for material, and I thought maybe you wanted to take us out with another of your... I felt like we kind of structured this whole episode so that you could tell us about your discovery of this British author.
Yeah, I do have one more fact. Okay, so in the early 80s, Stephen King famously took a lot of drugs, drank a lot of beer when writing, and upon reading that, King wrote Cujo, one of Marenghi's favorite books, on nothing but beer and cocaine. Marenghi holed up in a dingy hotel to do the same, woke up in jail weeks later with only 2 words written on his typewriter cryptically, and those 2 words were maroon headscarf. So it's a phrase that froze him, and he had writer's block for almost 6 years, and he calls it his off-the-pitch maroon headscarf era. And then when he came back, it was almost when the Thatcher stuff and, all that stuff happened, and he tried to capitalize on it, as people do. There were no social media back then, so it kind of just fell apart. And he died alone in a studio apartment before he went to Romania for the surgery that he died during. Kind of a sad story. But when Holness was doing the early days of his Garth Marenghi character, he met with Marenghi because he was a big fan, because Holness had discovered his books hidden away under his dad's bed in a box. And he was a big fan. And Marenghi actually became a big fan, and they wouldn't have actually done the TV show if they hadn't have had his blessing. In fact, the back of Marenghi's 1970s horror novels, his author photo is him holding a bloody hand up with a pentagram, which they pay homage to in one of the episodes. So, yeah. Garth Marenghi.
Woo.
Look him up.
So I still can't tell. Were his books good? Did people? No. Okay.
No, they were just filled with. 10 years later, it would have been a little more accepted, but in the 70s and then the moral panic of the early 80s and Thatcherism, his notoriety was mostly based on how lurid, sexual, and violent they were and being banned. I think the exciting part was that they were forbidden, so that's why people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I do have one last fact. It's not a Halloween fact. It is a fact about Garth Marenghi. Am I saying that right? Kid made all that shit up.
What? Yes, happy Halloween, everybody.
Oh, for serious?
Yeah, for tricks.
Oh, damn it. I believed every word.
Yes, I still got it.
Well, we'll be back to finish out the Squib season.
And 2 weeks, we will have Walker.
Woo!
Yeah. And then RoboCop, one of the best Squib movies of all time, if not the best, to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Ryan, for the theme song.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Based on melodies, originally whistled by me, it must be said.
Great job.
Thank you, Thomas, for your Halloween facts.
Of course.
I'm going to go boil one of the dogs because they're starting to look like broccoli. That's a reference to an episode, listener. I'm not actually going to murder my dog.
Look at that.
I prefer
man.
roasted. Roasted broccoli is the way to go. If you got to put a dog,
Yes, but when Dr. Rick Dagless is saying all those beautiful things to the Linda who's dying of turning into a broccoli.
Yeah.
And it's like really pretty. It's like he's out saving little kids. That's why he couldn't be there. But they had just chopped off his penis and he was recuperating because it was turning into a broccoli as well. And then she dies because you guys could take her. And it's the chefs.
Yep. Stephen Merchant.
Stephen Merchant. Son of a bitch. Oh, hey, good Lord.
Ken, maybe if everyone you know had died, you'd be sarcastic too.
That explains a lot. Yeah. Thank you guys. This is one of my favorite shows. If you haven't watched it and you're listening, for God's sake, go listen to watch the whole thing and then come back and listen to this and realize how bad we fucked it up.
You know what that makes us together? Together, that makes us flash gorgeous.
Flash gorgeous.
I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you.
Flash gorgeous.
I don't want to hear about you. I want to hear from you.
It's 10-4.
10-4, buddies. Destroy. Kill all hippies.
I don't hate it. I just don't know why you strayed from the formula.
You bastards. In case you don't know it, Bob, I'm an artist. And I must reflect that in my rhyme.